Hello, welcome back. Welcome back, everybody, to another video. It's Crypto Activator here, and welcome to a live stream. We have a live stream happening here this evening, and we've got a special guest again that is a friend of the channel, no stranger to the Crypto Activator YouTube channel here and everything. We have AJ here this evening. I'm going to bring him on here. We're going to go over a few updates in regards to Spark Swap with the bridge, if any, a few other updates that are happening with Spark Swap, as well as, a few other updates that I believe he has to share as well. And, we're looking forward to a good stream here. So if I'm loud and clear and everybody can hear me just fine, if you want to just give me a shout out in the chat there and just let me know, that'd be great. And I'll bring him on here in just a quick second here. So, all right, here we go. Okay, excellent. AJ, how are you doing? Could you hear me? Are you good?
Yes, brother. Great to be back, Crypto Activator. Can you hear me all right, brother? We coming through
Oh,
loud and
yes,
clear?
excellent. Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Awesome,
everything's all
man.
good.
Good
Yeah,
deal.
good.
Yeah, we're excited to do a live stream today. I know we sent all of our community over to join in live. So as we give an update, if there's questions along the way as well, I'm happy to jump into those for sure. But yeah, man, lots of updates today. We have some news about our SparkSwap bridge. We have another NFT opportunity that we can talk about, and just some overall info on EMP, SparkSwap, and L1 Dex. So yeah, man.
Yeah, excellent. Okay. Well, yeah, yeah, this is great. It's great to have you back on here. It's been a few weeks. I think it was about a month ago we had you on here, talking about things with the decks and
For
that,
sure.
right? So that's good. It's good to see things are really moving along with that. And then Spark Swap as well. That's that's an excellent dex, an excellent yield farming opportunity for people to participate in. I think number one, mainly because it's a sister project of EMP, and there's the history with that, right? With the history with EMP, and then
For
now
sure.
moving on over to Pulse Chain. Like, hey, if you're into PLS, I mean, what better place? I mean, that it's not rugging. That's the one thing that was a biggest concern, I think, that's happening in a lot of yield farms and that, especially on Pulse Chain. Well, any chain really, when it comes down to it, a new chain when it launches, like Binance Smart Chain was the same thing when it launched. It's really sketchy over there, right? And now, Pulse Chain, for a while there, it seemed like there was a lot of sketchy stuff that was launching out on Pulse Chain. And then when I seen you guys launch Spark Swap right away, and and I find out that it's your team, that it's EMP that's behind it and everything, I was like, wow, hey, this is great. Okay, you know what, man, I feel good. I feel confident, being able to bring some PLS over to Spark Swap, park it in there, get some yield while I'm just sitting on it anyways, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
no doubt.
and you got some great updates with this that's happening, so I look forward to that.
For sure, Activator. Yeah, and again, bro, I know it is unfortunately the landscape right now that there are a lot of scammers, even legitimate projects, that just can't make a go of it, and they give up when the times get tough. And we at EMP, we have never had that mentality. I cannot promise gains, but I can promise that both myself personally and the entire team will never give up. And we pivot. We don't get it right 100% every time, but we can pivot and move towards things that make the entire ecosystem better, and again provide yield no matter what happens. And even at EMP, with the dramatic downturn in the markets overall, right now the markets are looking pretty good, and hopefully this is the beginning of some great momentum moving into next year. But even now, being on the floor per se, um, we're still generating yield, and even EMP. I mean, it's not the sexiest APR, but even 10 to 20% APR, with reduced asset prices, is pretty spectacular. And we've been at this now for almost 2 years. We have never had an exploit. In any of our contracts or ecosystem, that is a testament to not only our due diligence, but to our team as well. Again, our lead developer has been with me from day one and is actually part of the team. So we're not, reliant on devs that we don't know and don't have a vested interest in the protocol. And so we've just been continuing to, add and develop. Obviously, EMP Fusion, that's like the next step in the EMP ecosystem. And, we've said it before that we'll come on and do an entire AMA with you when Fusion is closer. Admittedly, we've had a bit of a delay just because it's a major undertaking, and we are building that protocol. Again, it's still be EMP, but it's basically a new version of EMP, and that's taken a lot of resources to bring together. But we could not be more excited. And SparkSwap as well as L1 Dex, they tie into the EMP ecosystem. So, not only are we building a much more sustainable product with EMP Fusion, but we're able to reward people in real yield. And that yield has to come from somewhere. And so
Mhm.
SparkSwap and L1 Dex, as well as some other revenue streams, even EMP Fusion itself, will have a marketplace that will be a revenue stream. So all these revenue streams will come together and make EMP Fusion even more powerful. So as you said, we were on the channel. Again, it was barely a month ago, right when we first launched. SparkSwap's only been live for 8 weeks, and
Yeah.
we've had some incredible success in those 8 weeks. Again, we're as of right now, we're right about $10 million of TVL. The Spark price has been holding fairly nicely. Again, unlike most reward tokens that have a big run up in the beginning and then just get dumped to oblivion. We've definitely had a downward trajectory, but it's been pretty sideways. And really, every time we hit a new low, it gets bought up again. So, and you have to understand that all of our protocols, EMP included, it's not necessarily about the token price, where you're having to hope that somebody buys your token from you for a higher price than what you paid for it. That's how 99% of crypto works. But we're not that way. We are focused on yield, and Spark is a yield generating asset. And if you're putting your Spark into Sparkler, the Sparkler is the game changer. And for those that don't know, Sparkler is again a single staking contract where you lock up your Spark for a given amount of time, and then you're able to earn the fees from the protocol. And now that the bridge is live and we've been having more and more volume, the APR in Sparkler has actually started to go up, and we feel like the more fees that we can generate, that trend will continue. And so again, just to give math behind it, because I can say anything on an AMA, but the numbers don't lie. Those that have staked in Sparkler within the first few weeks, they have already done a 3 to 4x on just the yield alone from that Spark that has been staked. So again, I understand everybody wants to take profit. We're all here to make money in crypto. That's the point. But it's more importantly, it's how you take profit that is really the main takeaway. And again, selling your Spark outright, yeah, you may be able to profit quickly, but if you took that same amount, put it into Sparkler, now you're essentially earning real yield from the protocol over the life
Mhm.
of the protocol, and not impacting the chart or the APR, because that's one other thing people don't realize is selling Spark actually reduces the APR. So if you want to make more money, it's actually more powerful to do things in the proper way. And again, all that is a lot of people take what I say and try to spin the words that all of our ecosystems we sell shame people for selling. But that's not at all the case. I mean, we build protocols, to provide opportunity. It's just a matter of how you profit that's really important. So yeah, I'm happy to go more into that. And again, anything
Mhm.
as well today will be a little more laid back. If any of you have questions, please type them in the chat as well. But yeah, does that make sense, Activator? I think
Oh,
you
yeah.
you've been
Oh,
involved
yeah,
with
no,
Spark, and
absolutely.
you know, right? I mean, you've
Oh,
seen it
yeah, I
firsthand.
agree too, you know, I mean, expect there's nothing you know, if it's especially, you know, like the market's going sideways, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, you know, and especially at the bottom, I think this is the best time, man. I mean, like,
For
people
sure.
that aren't getting involved with this sort of stuff right now in the bottoms as we start to climb out, they're missing out. You're going to really, really miss out because this is when you want to take advantage of this. And if it's just moving sideways at a low price, and you know, it's not that bad. Like you said, you know, I mean, around what, it's like 30 cents right now for the Spark. And I seen it dip down a little bit lower, and now it's back up to around 30 cents. And so even if it just hovers around here, if it goes sideways, like you said, who cares, right? You're generating yield. Anything that the increase on the token is gravy, you know, on top of that,
For
right?
sure. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And again, right now we're in what I consider, an accumulation phase.
Hmm.
We mentioned this on the previous AMA, but eventually Spark will become non-inflationary. So right now, there is inflation on Spark because that's how we're able to pay the attractive APRs to get people involved. But eventually, we're going to move away from that, and we've learned again with EMP the pitfalls that a lot of these inflationary based protocols run into. And so, there will be a point where that inflation stops. And then the amount of Spark in circulation is all that there will be. And Spark actually even becomes deflationary because we're able to burn a portion of, again, the revenue that we collect. It goes to buying Spark and PLS, creating the LP pair, and then that's what you're rewarded with inside of Sparkler. So part of that transaction fee will also burn Spark, and at that point, because there's such high demand on the Spark token, again utilizing Sparkler as an actual yield generating machine, not financial advice, but low supply and high demand usually ends up being a higher token price. So, as you said, right now
Yeah.
it's about building your positions. And again, we've only been live for 8 weeks, but we've delivered a hell of a lot in those 8 weeks. So, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but with the bridge, we now are actually our own decks as well. So, all of the original farms were on top of Pulse X, which is the main DEX on Pulse Chain. Again, you could compare it to Pancake Swap on Binance Smart Chain, the premier DEX. But now we're actually competing directly with Pulse X, and I don't mean that in a predatory manner. I mean that in just a market share manner. So again, just like we saw other DEXs pop up on BSC, like ApeSwap, um, as an example, that we are now an actual DEX. So the two pairs that we have right now are the EMP ETH LP farm, and then the Spark Goat farm, which is another incredible protocol that
Mhm.
we partnered with, Goat Token, and that utilizes the UP token economics, where the token cannot go down in value because of the mint and redeem fees. So we're going to continue to add more and more pairs, and all of those pairs, um, we're also getting a lot more of the swap fees as well because we own those LPs on our decks, and I don't mean we take custody of the LP. All of you all have your own custody, but we own the swap, and so that those fees, rather than going to getting developers rich or rewarding the people that started the protocol, all of those fees go into Sparkler. So again, you can actually own a part of the DEX itself as well as the bridge fees by being involved in Sparkler.
Right. So Chris has got a question up here. If you
Yeah,
could
absolutely. Yeah.
answer
Do we
this
have,
one.
so you want me to read it, or you want to read it and
No,
I'll
I
answer
got
it? Okay. Yeah.
AJ loving the Spark swap, fully engaged. Question: the PLS single-sided staking yield has come down quite a low level. Where do you see the yield settling at any lower? And I'll need to pull it, he says.
Yeah, no doubt. So great to hear from you, Chris. Yeah, I mean, we've been pretty transparent about this from day one. The pools are very different than the farms. So the single staking sided, yield, really all that is to get the TVL up, to get people into the protocol. You know, you can look at it as kind of advertising, if you will, to get people involved. And then obviously the in and out fees go to pay Sparkler as well. But we've said from day one that the pools over time will start reducing. And a lot of it is even just competition. I know a lot more money has gone into the pools, and so even if the emissions stay the same, the APR will reduce over time as more and more people get into those pools. So the short answer is the pools will continue to drop, and based on the on-chain data that we have, unless you're literally getting in, today, the vast majority of people have more than ROI'd on the yield that those pools give. And again, the pools they do nothing for the protocol. They're simply, the in and out fees obviously support Sparkler, but in terms of like yield generation, they really don't do anything. So the idea is that we phase those out over time, and eventually the pools will just go away. Um, but again, the vast majority of people have already ROI'd from those pools. So if you have Pulse or Die or ETH in any of those pools, consider removing it and going into one of the farms. We have options, for all the farms with those same assets, and those will not go away. Again, those are meant to stay. The yield will fluctuate. Again, APR is variable. That's just the nature of the beast. But overall, the farms are way more beneficial to the protocol than the pools are. So hopefully that answers Chris. Might not be the answer you wanted to hear, but that's where we're at, man.
The Spark PLS LP, that farm, that's still got a really good APR, and it has no fees on it as well, right? It's 308% APR, and that
For
LP,
sure.
that's the same LP that you are earning in the Sparkler, right?
Yeah, 100% activator. So again, we'll always prioritize our native LP farm, and that will have the highest multiplier. So again, it is a little bit higher risk because the price of Spark and PLS will fluctuate. But to your point, there is no fees on that pool, so you don't have to worry about that on that farm rather. And all the LP that you earn from Sparkler, you could put that into the farm and essentially double compound your earnings. So again, I think it's very healthy for people to take profit. Back to my earlier statement, maybe one week you break your LP that you earn from Sparkler rather. You keep the PLS side as profit, and then put the Spark you earn right back into Sparkler. But then maybe the next week you put all your LP into the Spark PLS farm. So again, there's options for everybody for sure.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And one thing about, you know, I mean, yeah, like for example, going back to the single pool for the, I've still got some in the single sided staking for the PLS, the
For
wrap
sure.
PLS, right? I've already, like you said, people that if you've been in it for a while already, you've already made back your fees and that out of that, right? So, I mean, 30%, when you look at that, I mean, hold on, where is it? Yeah, sure, that's lower, right? Or no, it's 27 actually, but it's a little bit lower, but it's still not that bad when you look at it, as far as overall APR.
Totally.
and you're not going to lose any like impermanent loss or anything like that. And then what you're doing, you're staking some PLS. Okay, now if you got your fees out, or you've earned your fees or anything, and you're holding PLS, you're stacking it, you just want to hold on to it for the next year or two at least. Hey, you're earning 30% while you hold it. That's the way I see it, right? I'm going to hold it anyway, so I might as well hold it even at least for 30 or 25, 27% APR. The way I see that,
Yeah, no
that's
doubt,
my opinion,
activator.
right?
Yeah, I agree. And even again, even if the APO does get down, to 5 or 10%, we have the ability to waive the withdrawal fee as well. So again, the idea is that we're not here to hurt. We're not here to hurt anybody.
Hmm.
We cross that bridge when we come to it, when we're
Yeah,
finally
that's
ready
good.
to retire
Excellent.
those pools completely. But again, as you said, even it's better than holding in your wallet. Again, even accounting for the 4% in and 4% out fees, you could essentially ROI within a few months,
Mhm.
from that. And again, if you're putting your spark that you earn, again, we had somebody in our Telegram try to not understand what I was saying, but if you're putting your spark that you earn into Sparkler, that will actually severely reduce your ROI time because now you're earning even more Spark from or Spark PLS LP, and even if sell that LP, that severely reduces your ROI time. Where even with a 50% APR, you could ROI in a matter of weeks and not months because you're essentially earning on top of earning by putting your spark into Sparkler. So again, I mean, it's hard for me
Yeah,
to do exact math on these AMAs. I don't pull out the calculator, but
yeah.
generally speaking, again, it's a lot better than it looks, and even the ETH pool. I mean, good lord, 40%. On ETH is unheard of, and even
It's
if that
49.
goes down, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, I mean, you're getting 5% running an ETH validator node. So just put that into perspective for sure.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think we did a great job going
Yeah.
over all that. I'd love to
Yeah.
go over the bridge, and
Yeah.
then we have a special announcement too with another rollout that we made, and we'll also talk about L1 Dex a little bit as well. So I'm
Yeah.
happy to say that the bridge is live. So we were teasing the bridge last time we were here, but if you go to trade, you'll see there's a bridge tab, and this is an actual a real bridge. It's not a lot of other protocols that spin up. They use what we call a swapper contract, where
Mm-hmm.
you actually have to send your crypto to a separate wallet address, and then hope that the conversion happens, and that you get it back. Again, those of you who might be familiar with Exchange Now or Simple Swap. That's how a lot of those pseudo bridges work. But our bridge is an actual smart contract bridge where it's all hosted in house. You don't have to send your tokens to some random wallet address. You literally are able to connect your wallet and swap EMP between Binance and Pulse Chain. And again, you just pick your destination chain. Yep, flip that over. That way you go to Pulse via BSC instead. And the fees are very reasonable. I mean, we're only charging a 0.5% fee, and the vast majority of that fee goes into Sparkler. So you're earning from the fees of the protocol by being in Sparkler. And because we're on BSC, you're saving the incredibly high gas fees from Ethereum. So the main Pulse Chain bridge is from Pulse to ETH. And it's been a minimum of $10 per transaction just in gas fees alone. Not to mention the bridge fee from that native bridge. And the most amazing thing is all of our bridging has happened on average under a minute. So we're talking literally seconds for the bridge to happen. If you try to do that on Ethereum, you're waiting at least an hour for the bridge to complete. So this has been really, really powerful. Again, the first token was EMP, just so we could have a proof of concept, make sure that the bridge is bulletproof. We did have a little bit of a delay on the bridge, even though we never announced a date. We wanted to make sure that the bridge was, double, triple, and quadruple tested. And so now there's no issues. It's been 100% safe over the last 5 days, working flawlessly. And we will have a stable token option. So that's some alpha for you and the activator community. We're not ready to give a date, but very soon we will have a stable option. What that a lot of you, we're not announcing what one it is, but a lot of you will know what it is and have used it before, and that will be a stable option. So now again, there will be no reason to use the main Ethereum to Pulse bridge. You can bridge right to BSC, and then move your funds from BSC to whatever other chain you would like. But this is really exciting, and even now, I mean, over the first 4 or 5 days of the bridge, even with the EMP token, which a lot of people, we have plenty of liquidity. Um, but even then, a lot of people aren't comfortable buying and bridging EMP, even though it's really very, very simple and safe. But we've already done over $400,000 of bridge volume in just a couple of days on EMP. So and again, the vast majority of that, the fee is 0.5%. 0.1% goes to EMP. 0.1% goes to the developer fee, which simply just pays for the hosting. And then 0.3 percent goes to Sparkler. So the vast majority of all the fees go to Sparkler, and it's allowed Sparkler to pay. Ever since we launched the bridge, we've been averaging just under 1% a day in real yield in Sparkler. So it's very, very lucrative.
Oh.
Yeah, so we're definitely making headway on all that. So and if anybody has more further questions and confusion, you do have to use V2 when you're swapping. All of our new farms and that are under the Spark Swap LP is V2. So you can see at the top there, activator, it says swap and then swap V2, or liquidity and liquidity V2. So just make sure if you are getting a high price impact, um, you need to make sure you're on the right version. So the EMP ETH LP and the Goat Spark LP are both V2. Everything else is V1. And that will be a lot less confusing in the future as we move all of our LP over to V2. And then it'll function all together through smart routing. And yeah, that's when we really are able to compete with PulseX directly. And again, even the Goat Spark LP, we were able to generate about $40,000 of liquidity, just for that. And there was only even the PLS Goat LP was only about 10,000 on PulseX. So we're already outperforming PulseX in terms of the new pairs that we've added.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, question on the bridge. That's
Yeah.
exciting. That's good to know about this stable coin that is going to be in the works here. That'll be great. But also, you're going, okay, Pulse chain to BNB chain, and that's great. Question is, would you consider, or are you considering, other chains like, for example, Polygon or Base, right? Polygon, especially, one of those chains. I don't I'm not big on Ethereum either myself. I mean, the fees are so high, right? But Polygon, really cheap. Base, I'm finding is pretty cheap too, right?
For
So
sure.
that, I mean, I don't know. I asked the question because I know, like, I don't know why, but there's a lot of different like on ramp, off ramp, exchanges. They're not accommodating, Binance Smart Chain. You know what I mean? And so once you get over to Binance Smart Chain, you got to go to another chain just to get your into fiat if you want to spend your money or anything like that. You know what I mean? Or go anywhere
Yeah.
else,
No,
right?
100%. So this is actually an amazing segue into the next thing I was going to talk about, and that is L1 Dex. So we are still developing L1 Dex, and that is on a brand new layer one. It's called layer 1X.
Right.
And so to answer your question, Activator, yeah, I mean, we right now we're kind of just solving the short term problem, and that is why we built a traditional bridge between BSC or BNB network and Pulse. But the idea is that through L1 Dex, we're actually able to have a partner network. And again, we can do a whole AMA on the Dex itself, and we will be back
Hmm.
to do that when it's live. But the idea is that you're able to actually swap and bridge. We don't even call it bridging. We call it tunneling because it works very differently than your traditional bridge does. It's a lot faster, it's a lot safer. And so what happens is because we're building an entire ecosystem, SparkSwap will actually be the partner DEX to L1 DEX. And now through L1 DEX, you're able to do exactly what you said, Activator, where you can swap between any chain that is interoperable with L1X. So eventually, this bridge will go away, and we'll implement the L1X, interoperable swapping or tunneling. Again, tunnel can be much safer than a bridge. So
Right.
that's been the verbiage. But yeah, I mean that solves exactly what you were saying about being able to bridge to other chains. And once that's implemented, now you can transfer tokens again to any chain, and that's why it's so bullish, and that's why a lot of people think that we're getting distracted by building other sister protocols, but the reality is that we're playing chess and not checkers, where we're building an entire infrastructure that supports each of these protocols individually, but also makes them stronger together. So that is the overall roadmap for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. Excellent. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. With the L1 Dex. That makes sense. Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, no doubt. So yeah, man, that's all of it in a nutshell. I'd love to go over the new NFT offering as well, and then I'm happy to take further questions. Do we have anything for any questions on EMP or L1 Dex or SparkSwap before we move on to the new offering?
I'm good. Is there, let's see here. Okay, congrats on the bridge. You guys. Yeah, no, I think we're good with the questions right there. We can head over to the
All right, awesome. So yeah, this is
oh,
again
wrong
just
keyboard.
yeah, one more little puzzle piece, and then yeah, at the end, if anybody has further questions, I'm happy to answer some more as well. But
Yeah.
the one last puzzle piece, again, getting going into the end of the year here, and moving into next year with the eventual bull run, we have decided to offer what we're calling EMP Treasury bonds. So if you can pull up the site. I think it's EMP bonds. Yep, there you go. You got it.
There we
So,
go.
yep. So here we go. This is our new initiative, and again, we've had a lot of the community say, I want to invest in AJ or in these protocols, and so I put my face on the bond, and that's how confident we are that we can deliver on this. I would never put my face on something that we were not 100% confident in. And so how this works is it is essentially a loan to the protocol. And a lot of people think a loan means that we're in trouble or that we need help. That is not at all the case here. The main reason we structured it as a loan was for regulatory reasons. There are no SEC laws on fixed interest loans, and again, we're not managing anybody's money. Um, so a fixed interest loan is above board on all fronts, and furthermore, it will help us scale EMP. So we have a very healthy treasury right now. Um, we made the hard decision, and a lot of our community was not happy about this. But knowing the long run, rather than when EMP started to go down, everybody wanted us to do buybacks of EMP and help artificially stabilize the price. But what ends up happening is that provides exit liquidity for everybody, and it drains the protocol. And now the protocol is literally dead, with nothing in the treasury to support further development. So we made that hard decision, and now we've been able to turn our treasury into more than what we started with. And so not only are these bonds a fixed interest loan, but we've also have the assets to collateralize the bonds themselves. So even if we weren't able to generate any yield moving forward, we still have the assets on hand to make good on that 60% APR. So it is a USDC in, USDC out. Um, you will get 60% APR in 1 year. So again, this is not your typical yielding NFT where you're able to compound or withdraw your principal every month. You do have to be locked in for a whole year, but to get 60% APR guaranteed, again, a fixed rate APR on stables is pretty incredible. So
Yeah.
we've done everything we can to make it attractive, but also not offer too much APR that it won't be sustainable. So we've been doing our due diligence over the last 8 months, and we worked with a partner protocol called Trade Yield. That a large portion of our treasury is being traded, and actually generating yield on that. So it's not a trading bot or a Ponzi scheme like a lot of these other protocols are. It's a real live person. His name is Brian. He's been trading for 8 months with us, and we've slowly scaled into it. I started with my own funds first, and then we put some treasury funds. That went really well, and then we added a few of our VIP members. So we've had a very long track record of real proven results that he's able to generate. And then the idea again is through not only trade yield but other investments, we're able to yield even more than the rate that we're guaranteeing. So it ends up being a win-win for EMP as well. And that yield that we generate will go directly into EMP Fusion as a revenue stream. So again, I know it's a lot of info to take in. We have a full FAQ section as well. If you click on the top right up there by connect your wallet, yeah, it's a little hidden, but yeah,
Mhm.
this will answer all the questions that you may have. We don't have to go over all of them tonight, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great opportunity. Whether you are bullish on EMP and our products or not, you can't argue with the 60% APR on stables, and we will have an internal marketplace. So even if you do need to exit early, obviously you have to find a buyer, but you will have the ability to sell your NFT early for that fixed rate. So again, it'll be calculated in real time. So every month those NFTs will rise in value by 5%. So if you wanted to sell, next month, just for 5% higher, you would have that option as well.
Okay, so if a person has one of these NFTs and 4 months down the road, they I want to sell this, and they go over to the marketplace, then they're selling it and they're also getting a, they're getting, an extra 20% on that then, I guess, maybe,
Exactly.
right?
Yes, brother. Perfect activator. Yep. So in your example, exactly. Again, 5% a month works out to be 20% in 4 months, and yeah, they would list their NFT at the current market value of listing, and actually, it's built into the marketplace where if you list your NFT, you don't even have the option of listing it below market value, and that will help us maintain again an amazing floor price and we also don't allow you to sell on other third party websites because we don't want people to undercut the actual value of the NFT because they're collateralized and that there is assets backing the bonds. We don't want people undercutting. So yeah, and we even also to further that we even have an emergency withdrawal option where anybody can redeem their NFT as long as there is uh, enough money in the smart contract, which we'll add more to once a week, hopefully as we go. But you can redeem immediately. But if you do that option, you are going to take a 10% hit on the principal, and you forego any yield that you would have generated. So that's an emergency withdrawal, but it is a bit of a buffer for those that may need to get out. But again, the whole idea is that this is a savings account, essentially that you're able to just get in now, forget about it for a year, and then in the height of the next bull run, of November of next year, you get a really nice surprise of a 1.6x of what you put in. So again, your 250 turns into $400. So that's the goal for sure.
Yeah. And then at the end of that year, then what happens? You'll
Y-
have more of them,
Yeah,
or
so
that's it?
yeah, that's a great question. So, as of right now, this is going to be our only offering. If we do end up releasing more, it will be a reduced rate APR at that point. But honestly, Activator, I mean, this is kind of the last piece of the puzzle before we really start implementing Fusion and everything else. So we're hoping that we don't ever have to do an offering like this, where we can just keep everything that we earn in house. Again, not to be greedy, but to reward all the users of Fusion directly. So the goal is that we're not going to do additional ones, but if we did, it would be at a reduced rate, and we would give you an update on that. But and to your point too, at the end of November 1st or on November 1st, 2024, that will be the 1 year mark, and we'll have a button right there next to the marketplace. Again, on November 1st, when the mint is over, right next to FAQ, we'll have another button that says marketplace. That's already done. It's just we haven't updated the UI until the mint is over. But everything's finished and completed. And so we'll have another button there that will say redeem. And then literally, you would just burn the bonds and get the US dollar value.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I think it's a great deal. I think it's a great deal. Like I said, for a stable coin, USDC, put that in and
For sure.
forget about it for a year. I
Yep.
don't know why you'd want to sell it, or dump it throughout the year.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, and again, I think it'll be attractive for those that maybe, want the capital. But even people down the road, you could potentially get 30% APR 6 months from now. So I think there will be demand, on the secondary market, peer to peer, that will give options to everybody. And yeah, I mean, there are risks involved, but
Hmm.
in the grand scheme of things, because it's collateralized, because we have a track record, we're not in a rug, we're not going anywhere. Um, again, I would never put my face on something that I didn't think we could deliver on. That really is a confidence booster. And even if we don't generate any yield whatsoever, again, like I said, because we're collateralized, we can pay these out at the end of the year without a problem.
So, a question: when it goes up for sale on the marketplace, there, when you if a person was going to sell one of these NFTs, say, like you said, say 6 months into it,
For
they're
sure.
going to receive 6 months worth of the APR, right? And what is that? Well, you're going to get like that your 30%, right? But is that what like, so when someone comes and buys one of these NFTs, are they paying the NFT price plus that yield,
Correct.
or just the
Yes.
NFT price, or what?
So yeah, what happens is, and again, this is a really good point to bring up. A lot of other similar NFT projects that are structured this way, they reward you in the yield in real time. And although that can be attractive, for the investor, that is really really scary and ultimately dangerous to the protocol, because what happens is people use that yield to then hyper compound, into more yield. And if you do that, that again, the power of compound interest, turns into hundreds of percent APR rather than 60%. And so we've mitigated that and removed that, again, the fixed rate APR over 1 year. And yes, so what happens is your value of the NFT is increasing by 5% a month. So you'll never be able to buy a $250 bond again. You buy whatever the current market value is. So and that will all be calculated in real time. We're hoping minute by minute, so that when you do, put your NFT up for sale, that will, increase the price of that NFT as you go. So you're getting fair market value. You're essentially just in the queue of somebody buying it from you.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, this is exciting. We hope we people get it. We sold about 10% so far. Again, we still have a week left. We did a 2 week mint,
Yeah.
so there's no real urgency. I know a lot of our nobody. Oh, that's another thing I want to mention. Um, Nobody got in early. Nobody paid less than 250. There is no referral. Again, this is simply USDC in, USDC out. We did do a pre-mint on the NFT, but those were for the VIPs that were already in this program. Again, we've had an amazing success rate with about 10 VIPs that were accredited investors that got involved early, but they still paid the same amount per NFT. So again, there was no early bird deal. Nobody is getting a different structure. It's very even across the board, and no smoke and mirrors. Just simply a way. Again, this is what NFTs are made for. It
Hmm.
makes the accounting much easier than having to manage 100 different wallets and 100 different payouts. So this is a real world use case for NFTs, and that's why we love utility based NFTs. So everybody now is participating in this model, and yeah, and again, a lot of those VIPs are in our socials, so they can attest to their experience as well.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. Okay. All right. So, yeah. So we went over. We got the bridge. We've got the NP bonds here. This is good stuff. Plus some good updates here.
Yeah, man. I
And
think
then
we went over all of it. That was amazing.
yeah.
We got it all in. I know. I don't know. Is there any last minute questions that anybody may have? I'm happy to answer anything. Again, we're as transparent as we can be. But yeah, I didn't know if any popped up.
Let's see. Yeah. No, I think we're good with we're good with even the questions in there. Anything else that you wanted to mention about the about the decks,
Yeah, so I mean,
or anything
again,
else?
we're just going to continue to build. Again, after this Treasury bond NFT is
Mhm.
over, we put all that capital to work. And then really for us, and again, I know a lot of the community, the running joke is when Fusion. Um,
Yeah.
we now have two development teams. So again, we go over this on our own AMAs. We do biweekly AMAs twice a week of our own. We talk about it a lot, but there is a one development team that has been and still is working on Fusion, and then another development team that's working on Spark Swap. So the idea, we had all hands on deck to finish the bridge, but now that the bridge is done, and again, the last part um, is just adding the stable token option. Now we can focus on finishing Fusion, and again, we're about 90% of the way finished on Fusion. We just have to wire up all the contracts individually so it all works together, and then we'd be ready. So again, I'm not ready to give a date, but we are close on that. So perfect. And what was that question? I didn't
Okay.
have a chance to read it, but yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead. Mhm.
Yeah. So the questions about the audit, I understand that flags can come from legitimate things. Have the issues been solved otherwise?
Yeah, so this is a great point. We have had all of our Spark Swap contracts audited. With that, we have a great relationship with both RugDoc and OXGuard. So OXGuard did the main audit, and everything came back great except for one item. And so we've explained it verbally. Obviously we can't write an entire paragraph on the audit itself to explain. But to simplify it, what happened was one of the audits that came back as a potential issue had to do with our rehypothecation. So we didn't even really touch on that. We did in our original AMA with you, but all the PulseX farms on SparkSwap, they are actually rehypothecated, which means we're able to apply all of those LPs to earning the incentive token. And the incentive token is the reward token of PulseX. Um, and that's pure yield for the protocol. So again, we never take custody of the LP, but we're able to apply the LP to those incentive rewards. And so then we take the ink and we sell the ink for half PLS and half Spark, and then that's what rewards Sparkler. So in order to have that rehypothecation, there was an edge case through the original MasterChef contracts, which again, all AMMs and yield farms have the same standard MasterChef contracts, but a lot of them don't utilize this rehypothecation. So in order to do that, we had to make some edits. Um, and although it's not a security risk, what would happen is if you decided to call the emergency withdrawal on your farm through the contract directly, not through our website, there would be an edge case where you would lose the rewards that you had accumulated. So your principal is never at risk. Um, but there was the edge case, of that emergency withdrawal, affecting your rewards. But it hasn't been a problem. Nobody has been affected by it, and we actually have a fix that we're trying to implement. We actually just emailed OXGuard today, um, and hopefully they can update the audit with the new fix. But yeah, I mean we're fully transparent. Again, we would never have any code that would put the protocol at risk. It's simply just an edge case.
Right. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. No, that's good.
Awesome, brother. Well,
Okay.
again, we made it right about an hour.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure we came back and updated everybody. That is something you will realize with EMP. If we say that we're going to do something, we do it. And again, the timelines maybe a bit longer than we had hoped. We started talking about fusion um, earlier this summer. And,
Hmm.
and admittedly, fusion has been a lot more of an undertaking than we thought. But I can guarantee that it will be here eventually, and everything that we do, we deliver on at some point. So um, we want to update you on the bridge, and yeah, all the other bullish things that we have coming. And I would love to come back on Activator and give you the update on actually launching EMP Fusion and L1 Deck. So hopefully
Yeah.
in the near future we're able to do that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I look forward to that.
Awesome, brother. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
man. Thank you again. It's always a pleasure. Much love to you and your community. Thank you all for coming out tonight or today or wherever you are in the world.
Yeah.
And if there was a question that we didn't get to, please feel free to join our Telegram or our Discord, either the EMP one or the Spark one or L1 Dex. Again, we're everywhere. We have some amazing admins that will answer any questions you may have. And yeah, join us on our own AMAs. We have Mondays and Thursdays at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. Activator, I know you're usually a live watcher of those AMAs, so I see your
Hmm.
name pop up every now and then
Yeah.
on the chat. So we'd love
Yeah.
to have you over there again, and yeah, and we can talk about our awesome interview that we did today. So yeah,
Yeah.
awesome, brother.
And if anybody, wants to, of course, get more further information about these two, about Spark Swap and the EMP bonds, there'll be links down below in the description too, so you can just click on over there and just go over the protocols, do further research on your own on this stuff too, right? So
For sure,
feel
brother.
free to
Yeah,
go ahead and do that.
yeah, nothing is financial advice. Everybody
Yeah.
do their own research, and we again, we're not here to sell anybody. We're here to provide amazing opportunities,
Oh yeah.
and we have the track record to back it up. So absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, excellent. We'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.
All right, brother. Bye bye, everybody.
Yeah.